with that said, Rollins approached Ryback backstage. This is the next authority.
This was the best one.
I personally thought Mark Henry had the best one because it had just the right amount of dooziness, but Rollins was great too because he
Wait a minute, which one was the one where Ryback was working out and he was doing the cord pull things?
That may have been Seth Rollins.
I think it was, yeah, because he was doing bicep curls, but he was using resistance cords to do it. And he would do one side, and then he would put it down, and then he would pause, and then he would look to the other side, and then he would pull it up and put it down, and then he would look to the other side. Like, he was so slow and deliberate with it. It was like he did not want to lose form. He wasn't paying attention to Rollins. He was just working off.
Yes. Great way to sneak that in there, too. You really got me with that one.
Well, it's not very sneaky if you point it out.
But yeah, Rollins approaches Ryback. And I like how Rollins starts here, because I'm like, finally, a member of Team Authority who understands what diplomacy is and just being good for the sake of the team, because he's welcoming him to the team and reassuring Ryback, yo, man, you made the right call. We're going to destroy those guys. And then he goes even one step further, which impressed me. He's like, and you know what? You're absolutely right. You shouldn't have to listen to Kane. And I'm like, oh, Rollins gets it. You should listen to me. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la. And so, yeah, I'm like, oh, Rollins.
He really is pathetic, isn't he?
Yes. Ryback retorts and says, hey, my game plan is simple. Find a target and destroy it. And Cena will find that out tonight. And then I love this here. I will say, this one got me. Because then Rollins is like, all right, big man, it's cool. And then Ryback just looks at him and he's like, it's not big man. It's the big guy. Heh, heh. And Rollins wishes Ryback good luck and leaves.
Oh, so good.
And here was our well, wait, first of all, you don't have anything else to say, do you? Because I know you really like this one, but I don't know if you had anything
No,
else to say.
I already said my piece with the working off bit.
Okay, fair enough. Here was our next segment, which I was close to making a heat of the night, but then I realized it's probably only a one-time deal because of the parties involved, so I forgave it. We had Los Matadores versus Damien Mizdow and The Miz, and they have Hornswoggle as yet another stunt double. Yeah,
They ruined it, John. They managed to do it. I didn't think it was possible, but they did it.
See, and I don't know if you're being sarcastic or not, because I know.
Oh no, I'm definitely being sarcastic. I'm making fun of the IWC 100%.
Yeah, because I'll even admit that I was a little serious when I said it last night, where I'm like, oh man, now they're being excessive. But then, like, when I had time to process it, because it's always nice when you can reflect upon a show. I'm like, you know what? They only did it because El Torito and that whole history, and anytime they can get those two back in the ring together, they're going to take it. So I can
Why in the world are they so intent on driving those two guys together?
Because it's The Rock and Austin of our time.
Because because they're the only little people on the roster?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, WWE. I should have expected this, but I expected more from you.
Well, the only interesting thing to note, because this seemed like a pretty standard tag match. I mean, Miz and Mizdow do get the win here. There's nothing really notable. I mean, the only worthwhile point isn't even really about the match so much as it is about the crowd, because they were so into Mizdow. And Miz, I think at one point in the match, teased that he was going to tag Mizdow, but then blew the crowd off. And then when he does tag in Mizdow, the pop was pretty huge.
Yeah, it was.
You know what? I'm both really nervous but extremely curious how this gimmick is going to take off when Sandow is on his own and just portraying whoever. If the novelty is going to wear off, if it's only as good as the heel who's kind of keeping him under their boot, so we're going to really find out a lot when he breaks off and goes full-blown babyface.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah.
So, yeah. Great stuff there. After that, we go to John Cena and Dolph Ziggler backstage. This is pretty much where we get confirmation that Swagger, I think, is pretty much done. They try and
This was so bad. I'm sorry, but
the weird thing is, Ash, is that throughout the night, the Authority and I think everybody were like singling out Ziggler, like, oh, Dolph Ziggler's on your team, ooh, and like really making him seem something.
Captain B plus himself.
Captain B plus himself, and yeah, I would have really loved for Dolph to get a segment just by himself to retort to all this, because I don't know, I feel like they're trying to build something around Dolph. I don't know. I'm very interested to see his performance at Survivor Series. In fact, more so than just the match itself, is just really how Dolph's going to perform. So, they're talking about it. Dolph just seems like so whatever at this point. Like, he seems like, oh, match with Mark Henry, like, they've already done enough to me. I'm still Intercontinental Champion. I'm just going to try and survive.
Yeah, just as long as I don't have to defend the title, I don't care.
Yeah, it's just like, John, I know you say that you'd want to be out there, but either the Authority isn't gonna make it happen, or you're just full of horse shit. And wouldn't you know it, it's the case of the former, because Triple H walks in and says, oh, I know you guys are really trying to rally around each other, and that's all great and everything, but that's not gonna happen because I'm banning Cena from ringside in your match with Mark Henry. And then Cena's just like, of course you are, and I'm like, I just feel like nobody is taking this seriously. I don't know. I just didn't get that vibe. And then
I absolutely loved this segment, dude. This was one of the very few segments that actually put a smile on my face tonight.
Yeah, I think because of the finish too, right?
Because Triple H starts singing Another One Bites the Dust, and I was just like, oh, Triple H, you're so cheeky.
He's such a hammy heel. I love it.
It's awesome.
I mean, it really is great. It really, I mean, I'm not against this segment at all. I just loved just how everybody was approaching this. It was great.
Yeah.
So,
because it's like Ziggler just doesn't care anymore. He's seen some things, man, and there's nothing you can do at this point that'll shock him. And Cena is just like it's almost gotten to a point where he kind of accepts that everything going on around him is going to be bad for everyone else around him, but they're not going to really do anything to him specifically. Because, like, Cena didn't even have a match. Like,
he did have
talking
a
about,
match with Rob, yeah.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, I guess that's true. That is true, so I shouldn't say that.
But I mean, I think what you're really trying to say here, though, is that it doesn't even matter what kind of match Cena would have against the Authority. Those odds don't look the same to him as they would to everyone else.
Yeah, because
like,
once you've kind of gotten to a point where, I mean, he was the one that originally took Ryback out. And by take him out, I don't necessarily mean end a run or end his career or anything like that. I just mean just completely kill his momentum. He was the one that did that first. He did that before anyone else. He was the reason that Ryback went from arguably the most over babyface on the card to middling mid-card tag team heel with Curtis Axel. Like, that's all on John Cena. And now Cena's got Ryback tonight, so he's just like, yeah, whatever. I've seen it, taken care of it before, no big deal. And in the meantime, Ziggler gets to go against Mark Henry, and Cena's just like, well, I thought I had a good team.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest here, okay? Let's be perfectly frank about why, this angle is a problem. It could be John Cena against all five guys.
And I would still buy it if he would win.
Exactly. That's the problem when you're a babyface as strong as John Cena has become. It's almost like where he's like almost putting his hand on Dolph's shoulder and being like, well, no, it sucks for you. Yeah, but it was nice knowing you and everything, but if it makes you feel any better, I'll probably still win. And then Dolph just kind of looks at him and says, I hate everything that you stand for. But yeah, so that was pretty much that. And then we get to Mark Henry versus Dolph Ziggler, and it actually seems like Dolph Ziggler is going to pull out the win because, Dolph's talented and he deserves it. And, because Mark Henry spills over the security barricade after trying to, I guess, spear Ziggler through it or just toss him through it or whatever the case. But Mark Henry, surprisingly for a guy as big as he is, makes a quick recovery. When I thought Dolph was just going to get the count of victory, gets a chair, pretty much says F this match, and then just hits Dolph in the face, which looked brutal, by the way. And then as he's about to just really destroy Ziggler, who comes out but the Big Big Show. Taped up ribs, and he goes after Henry, and then he says, well, you can't avoid me forever. You're going to see me in the ring again in Survivor Series because I'm a part of Team Cena. And cue collective groan. And I really have nothing to say about Big Show's addition to this team. I mean, nobody's surprised.
Yeah. I like that they're at least trying to kind of make it seem like John Cena's having a tough time, but it's gotten to a point now that I just can't buy it.
Well, and that's just it, dude. Like we just talked about, pretty much our prior conversation on repeat here. John Cena has become so powerful as a babyface. Oh, Big Show's joining him. Hooray, Cena's saved. He never needed saving. Now, the guy we came out to protect, Dolph Ziggler, that guy looks like a wreck. Let's check on him and give him some love. But no, of course not. So we go, and now here is where we get our second New Day vignette. This one featuring Kofi Kingston, and like Xavier Woods, he is making promises that a new day is on the horizon, which I think really confirms to everybody, Ashton, that Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E will remain a unit under this New Day banner.
Yeah. Dude, I cannot wait for Big E's version.
Oh, yeah, because he's cut, like, Black Preacher-esque promos when he would, like, get all into things before. We even kind of criticized him for it, for kind of stereotyping. But I think in this setting it may work. I don't know. Big E's will be next week. And then hopefully the week after that, because I don't know when Survivor Series falls, but probably the Raw after Survivor Series, we will see these guys debut. So I'm excited for it. I think this might be the Super Athletic Friends or something different entirely. But whatever the case, as long as these three guys are together, I have confidence in whatever it is. So, good stuff.